Hello everyone and welcome back to more Thief Gold. Today is the final day, or the final stream rather, of the final mission basically. We're gonna finish this game today. Last time we went to the Hammer's place and to get their backup basically. Get their help for dealing with the trickster who turns out to be Constantine, and he basically left us for dead and stole our eye, yada yada yada. Just watch the previous streams if you haven't. But yeah, we rescued their high priest, and they agreed to help us, I guess, even though it was never really like, at the end of the mission they never really said anything, but I guess they agreed to help us. So it's time to finally go after Constantine and get our eye back. Both of our eyes. Let's go.
This is it. The Hammers say they've received word that Constantine's descended into his realm to perform a ritual with the eye. The Hammers have built me a booby-trapped counterfeit eye. If I can swap it for the real thing, it should cause him some trouble. If he doesn't notice me. I've never robbed a god before. It'd be a challenge.
One thing that's always irked me about that last statement that Garrett makes is, I've never robbed a god before, but you're not really robbing him. Like, there's literally no loot in this entire mission. I guess you're robbing him from his dignity and, in a way, his life. Maybe that's what it's supposed to imply, but I always, like, interpreted it literally. So, yeah, kind of awkward, but whatever. Into the Maw of Chaos. The Keepers tells us that Constantine has gone into the Maw of Chaos, so we get to go in after him. So we're working with the Keepers. What about the Hammers? Well, I guess the Hammers made the counterfeit eye that we have to swap the real eye for. That should put a damper in his plans. And this last objective here, by the way, is exclusive to, I think, Expert. Yes, it's exclusive to Expert. The more beasts come through that portal, the more get through to the Hammer Temple and to the city. The Hammers tell you that if you don't destroy the portal before Constantine finishes his ritual, it may remain open forever, even if the trickster's plan fails. I really don't like how this is worded, because it implies that if you're playing on normal, or even hard, it's basically not canon, because this, like, never happens. Like, literally, if you complete the game on normal, the cutscene doesn't really change or anything, so that is why, at least in my opinion, the canon is on Expert. But yeah, those are our only 3 objectives, and this last one is honestly really easy, because the portal is literally right before the final area with Constantine and the ritual, so it's very hard to miss. And it's super easy. We'll actually learn how to close it. Because we start with a piece of paper that tells us, basically. And we start immediately. We don't really get a chance to get any loot. I do want to show off the map, though, because this is interesting. So, yeah. That is the map. Well, the developers have completely given up on making maps, it seems, for the last level. Thankfully, this entire level is very linear. It's the most linear level of the entire game. You literally just go in a straight line. That's it. There's no, like, alternate path. Actually, there are, like, a couple of very small instances of alternating pathways. But it's a very minor. Like, it's mostly just a straight line, and it's really pretty much impossible to get lost. So I guess you don't really need a map. And they just wanted to show us some cool artwork, I guess. I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but it is creepy nonetheless, so... Just wanted to show that off. So at the start here, there is this portal, and there will be a couple of bug beasts that go through. Normally, I just let them walk through, because it's really not worth risking your life to knock them out, because if you come out and knock out like this first one, the one directly behind it will spot you, and you're gonna be in a world of trouble. So it really doesn't change anything if you just let these guys through. And another thing that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me is there's a portal right here that the beasts are using. How come we're not closing this one? Instead, we have to close a completely separate random portal near the end of the level. Like, yeah, I guess it makes sense for level design, in a level design standpoint, but it's still weird in a lore, from a lore perspective. Ah, are they seriously not coming? I thought there was gonna be another batch of enemies. Okay, that's very strange. Oh, now they're coming. Okay, they're coming with a very big delay, because normally they don't take this long, but whatever. Let me also read this papyrus. This is basically the instructions of how to disable the portals, or the portal, rather. Garrett, all we can offer you in aid are these crystals and this passage from one of our oldest books. The trickster's works, such as they are made of the unformed stuff of the world, not the proper materials the builder hath taught. Fire and water, earth and air. These are for the trickster as brick and beam are to us. But, like their master, they are flawed. His maw is anchored by raw elements, and therein lies its weakness. Destroy each of its anchors with its opposite, and the maw must then follow in their wake. I don't know why it describes the maw, because this is literally just for a freaking single portal, and clearly the maw is not just a portal. The maw is the entire area that we're in, but whatever. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Basically, shoot. You start with 4 elemental arrows. You do get extras along the way, and you have to shoot each elemental arrow into the opposite element. So, for example, shoot fire into water, air into earth, and vice versa. Hey, Soybean, it's, I'm surprised to see you here. Don't you have work? Also, welcome back, Jonas. I didn't really rebrand. I just decided to go back to my original name. Because, like, the channel basically is dead. Let's be real. I only use it to stream for fun. That's it. I don't get paid anymore from this channel, and I kind of lost interest in making videos. So... in addition, I also barely have time to, like, do anything these days, because I work full-time now. And I would much rather spend my time working on something more productive, like mod and eventually, hopefully, game development. So, yeah, I don't really have time to make videos anyway, so I decided, you know what, let's just rebrand the channel, or not rebrand, but just change my name and get rid of, like, the whole banners as to not mislead people, because, yeah, no more video essays. Not like I made any, but yeah. I'm working, don't mind me. Okay. I guess I gotta listen to it like a podcast then. You should have done that for the other streams, but whatever. I guess like it doesn't matter to me. I'm just kidding, because again, I don't get paid, so I don't care if nobody sees these. I'm just doing it for fun. How do you know that? Because I went by that name during my early Omni days, and even before that. So, like, I think 2016, 2017 to 2020, I was called Vinox. And then 2021, I think I changed to Method. I'm scared to move, because these guys might spot me. I heard of that. Oh, okay. Oh, and here's another interesting fact. This is a special type of Crayman. I don't know if it's any different than regular Crayman with its stats. And also the HD mod adds those freaky looking horns. In the vanilla game they don't have the horns. But it's a blue Crayman. They only appear in this mission. From the entire franchise, not just this game. And again, I have no idea if there's any differences between them and the regular Crayman? No idea, so... Bit of an interesting fact there. You actually get a crap ton of gas arrows here in this starting area, which is great, because you're gonna need them for all these annoying bug beasts. Oh wait, speaking of bug beasts, there is one more coming through here, so I'm just gonna wait it out. Catch up with comments. With the chat, rather. You can also mention that once you said you wanted to rename yourself to the City Rose. I can relate to that, Jonas. I also remember the most pointless of things. But when it comes to actually remembering something important, like for, well, what used to be school and for work, I'm terrible at it. Pausing and then unpausing a stream is quite tedious when running a machine. However, I can afford to let it run and watch today. I presume you don't have a whole lot going on as well, huh, Soybean? Crap. Yeah, there's a grand total of 2 of these guys in the entire game. This is the second and last one. My god, they look freaky with those horns. Or antennas or whatever they're called. Really, really freaky. Great job on the HD mod developer with that. Okay, knock that bitch out. Climb up here. All of these little side tunnels with like the purple lights have the gas arrows. Kind of a shame because in the original game, like the walls, the textures of the walls are also completely purple, but here they would change to boring old stone for some reason. Remember, you gotta keep 1 gas arrow. This is another instance where even Thief Goat doesn't really fix soft locking, because if you somehow run out of elemental arrows and you're playing on expert, you're gonna soft lock yourself as well. Although I guess it isn't that big of a deal because they don't expect many people to play on expert. Crap. Oh, come on, you blocked my freaking gas arrow, you freaking bastard. I completely forgot there's one more of those annoying pricks. Well, I'm down to 1 gas arrow. That sucks. I was really hoping to save one for a rainy day, but whatever. Yeah, there's one more ape beast, but these guys are a pushover. As we already know. Dump him in the lava, because that's fun. No, still not a whole lot of work, yeah. I actually have a decent amount of work this week. Thankfully, it's nothing crazy, but it is definitely more work than I've had the past few weeks, so... It is what it is. That's just the nature of my work. Some days are... Basically, there's no work. What the fuck? Okay, I was not expecting that. It literally spawned out of nowhere. Screw you. Thankfully, there is no bullcrap objective to like... Oh, if you just knock out 1 bug beast, you have to kill them all. Thankfully, that's not the case here. Anyway, I really like this level, honestly. I think it's a pretty fitting final level. Oh, it looks really pretty with the colored lighting as well, with the HD mod. And the HD textures. I quite like this. But yeah, this is basically a gauntlet of surreal environments and basically the elements. Like, we just went through a fiery area. Whoa. That's weird. Yeah, we just went through a fiery area, now we're entering a frozen area, then there's gonna be a water area, a earth area with a giant tree. I'm spoiling a little bit, but yeah, it's really cool. I do like this level. I think a lot of people also don't like it because it's, you know, weird and it doesn't really feel like Thief, I guess, but I don't know, I like it. Never really had an issue with it.
Let's not try that again.
Here we have a bunch of fire elementals. These guys are super annoying, by the way. That was my only water arrow? Okay, yeah, we can't have that. So here's my strategy here. Just run. Try to pick up some fire arrows along the way here. Oh, crap. Jump! There we go. Alright. Easy. I only got hit once. Oh yeah, you also have the fake eye, of course. Almost every detail of a series I watched like 1.5 years ago that got me to mapping. Yeah, well, you already know this, but maybe other people in the chat don't know. Overpaid... overtime pay is... I actually don't think it's illegal. I think I misled you, Soybean. It does depend on the company, but it's not a common practice here at all. Usually what companies do, instead of paying you extra if you work overtime, they basically force you to take those hours off in a different day. Also, this area is very important because there's some much needed fruits there. Because you don't have any potions in this map. And over here is a random fire arrow. Mod does something different than Thief, doesn't feel like. This isn't a mod, this is the base game, it's just a map. It's literally the last map. The HD mod is what I'm using, but the actual like levels are not altered in any way. Except they have some props added here and there, but the layout is pretty much the same. This is a very strange area. This is probably one of the coolest areas, although it can be kind of hectic. There's an upside down waterfall here. Just proving that Constantine is all about chaos. None of this makes any sense. You have to swim through this. So it can be kind of hectic because you barely have enough air and you don't have any breath potions. Use these little nooks and crannies here to recover your air supply. Here we swim up. And this right here is the part that usually gets to me because it's kind of intense because you almost run out of air, but right around this corner there is an air pocket that you can use. Yeah, right there. But it's like the current is very strong, so it's kind of easy to miss. But we made it. This is also why I pop a quick save so often. And then the last part here is also kind of easy to mess up. Because you have to basically jump down in that hole. And if you don't hit it, you basically die. So you only have one shot, basically. And now we're in the floating water at the ceiling, and there we go. Got it. And I think that concludes the water section. I don't like how the fog is red, because I feel like it should be green here. This is the earth section, with the big tree that I mentioned earlier. There are a couple of ape men here. You can either take them head on or try to like sneak past them. They're actually relatively easy to sneak past because it's a very wide arena and there's a lot of shadows. But I like to knock them out because I hate them.
That's big.
No, that's big. I love sex jokes. Big wood. Yes. In the big wood. You remember the In the Little Wood? I wonder if he still makes content. Because I remember he was part of the Yogscast and I remember watching him a lot. As a kid. This inside the tree is kind of annoying because there's 3 spiders and they're really a pain in the ass to snipe. Thankfully the floor is soft so you can get all of your missed shots back. But I have a skill issue so I usually move in here. Also, be careful for them not to spot you, because they will alert the other ape men. Okay, get my arrows back, because I'm gonna need them. There's also fruits here, which is very welcome. And there are moss arrows. So each one of these sections basically has the elemental arrows, except water. I forget where you get water arrows. You can actually get water arrows in some area, but I don't remember which one. I think we've already passed it, so... What? Why are you not jumping, dude? I'm pressing space. There you go. Oh, and here is one of these bastards, the magic spider. Thankfully, I got him with one hit. Oh, right, I have to use a rope arrow here. You do start with rope arrows, thankfully, but... Again, another area where you can get soft-locked. If you somehow waste your rope arrows, you can't really proceed here, I don't think, at least. And I think there's more moss arrows here, yep. One. That'll do. I think I was in that Etho video recently. Well, that's good. I wonder if he got cancelled for something. Because that's a given if you're a Minecraft YouTuber these days. Oh, come on. Okay, so this area right here has like a bajillion spiders. What I do here... I do like the cobwebs here, by the way. These are HD mod exclusive. They're not vanilla. What I do here is I just run past them. Because here we have a... Interesting area. And yeah, the spiders can't really follow you through that bridge, so you're better off just sprinting past them. Oh, I just realized that the wall texture is actually animated. I'm pretty sure that's the thing with the HD mod, because I've never really noticed that before. That's cool. Here is a very funny area, because what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to stick to the shadows and crouch, because those crystal thingies on the sides will shoot at you. Cancel yourself before they cancel you. But what I like to do instead is I like to just strafe jump to the end. It's way faster and it's just funny. Can't get me, ha 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 ha. Ooh. This smoke effect is also exclusive to the HD mod. It's not in vanilla. I love this. Yeah, I would say out of all the levels in the entire game, or in the entire mod rather, this one probably looks the best. It just has all these small details added that really make it shine. But yeah, there's two ape men here. I usually tend to just wait for them and knock them out. We're almost at the end already, by the way. This is a very fast mission. I should have mentioned that. Very quick. Dump him in the lava. Haha, what a noob. The other guy should come down here soon, so I'm gonna wait here. This is a perfect shadow. Oh, there he is. Alright. Yes, I think we're very much near the end here. Also, as far as I recall... Oh! I remember where the water arrows are. Back in the area with the fire elementals, you can actually take an immediate right and go through a small tunnel that has a bunch of water arrows. That's where they are. And that is, I think, the only area in the entire mission where you can technically take an alternate route. But it brings you back around anyway. You can either make the jump, which is what I did, or you can go around. Alright, and here is that portal that we have to disable.
Let's just disable that portal and give the Hammers a fighting chance.
I only have one gas arrow, which is unfortunate because usually by this point I want to have 2 gas arrows because the moment I start shooting, it will alert the bug beast, and if it sees me, it's gonna start shooting back at me, and that's gonna be bad for business. So yeah, this is gonna be awkward. Also, I do like those little lava blobs down there that you can see. Those are also part of the HD mod. Alright, let me drop a quick save. So I think it's gas on Earth. Yep. Water on fire, of course. There we go. Moss on air. And fire on water. Okay, I have 10 fire arrows. Good. I was like, oh, do I not have any? And there we go. That was, as you can see, that was that objective. And now just run before they spot you. There's a bunch of vines here that you can climb. And here is the big man himself, Constantine. This is the first and only time you get to actually see his model in-game. Because so far we've only seen him in
black and blow,
cutscenes.
swirly gust, rain winds flow, pushing dust, storm clouds grow, doxy clouds, lightning throw, misty shrouds, freezy snow. Call the storm, call the gray, brings thee forth world's old way.
So what you have to do here is you have to wait for him to turn his back on you. Do I have any moss arrows? I still have moss arrows, good. The floor here actually makes a loud noise, so use a bunch of moss arrows. And while he's distracted, run in, or sneak in rather, and replace the eye.
Lazy sheet, black and tar, man flesh meat, melting ears, dance and leap, man full spear come to reap. Call the fire, call the red, brings thee forth, past not dead.
And that's literally it. Our new objective is wait for Constantine to complete his ritual. So you literally have to just wait it out. This is the final boss of the game. You can actually climb up there. You can barely see that there's like an entrance up there. I don't know if there's anything up there because I never go there. I find it too risky because normally he would see you if you try to climb up there. What I do is I just run back here because this area is completely safe and just wait it out.
Drain pipe stall, call the wave, call the blue, brings thee forth world anew.
I really hate how slow he moves here. I guess it's to give you a chance to sneak in, because if he moved like faster it would be more difficult. But at the same time I feel like he should have moved at least a little bit faster.
Grind and quake, shatter tile, column shake, brink a pile, chip and flake, darky soil, windows break, earthy toil, wall unmake, call earth, call the brown, brings thee back world thrown down.
Because while he does like that little speech every time, it's more than enough time, I think, to sneak in and swap the eye. So it would have been nice if they made him move quicker, or at least like maybe after he has half of them, because there's I think 6, maybe 7 pedestals in total.
Break lamp done with bright, dew and damp, smother tight, dark and hide, fools thee sight, stay inside, fear the night, call the dark, call the black, brings thee forth, I call it back.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think there's like 6 or 7 pedestals in total that he stops at to do his little like ritual dance or whatever, and speech. So it would be nice if they actually sped him up, like maybe when he's done with 3 of them. Because by that point, it's to be expected that you have already swapped the eye, and if not, it just makes it more difficult. It would have been a nice challenge, but no, 90% of this is just waiting. And after a while, he even stops like doing the speeches, which is even more irritating. So you just left here waiting. I think that's the last one that he's gonna do it, hopefully. The one at the far back. Yeah, so there are 7 3 on each side and 1 at the far back. I guess he does the last one the quickest.
Open for me. Open to me. Open my way. Open the path. Open for me. Open. It betrays me.
Ha ha ha! Take that! Let's have a quick look at him.
Better for you stays apart.
Wow, you look ugly. That is a face only a mother could like. You do take damage here, by the way, which is funny. And there we go, mission complete. Some people might say this is a disappointing ending. I kind of agree. I think the final, like, ritual part is really annoying, that it's literally all just waiting. But I do like the overall premise of the level. The design and the linear nature of it is kind of a fitting end, because most of the levels in the game are like, you know, very open-ended. They feel like almost like a small open world. There's like multiple paths that you can take to your destination every time, and this is just a straight up gauntlet, like a linear gauntlet. So I do like it. I do like this level. I think this is the best of the last 3 levels in the game. But yeah, we descended through the Maw of Chaos and located Constantine. We swapped the real eye with the replica that the Hammerites crafted. We destroyed the portal that the beasts are entering through before Constantine finished his ritual, and we waited for him to complete his ritual, and he's dead. GG, well played. I'm gonna play the final cutscene, and I will also play the credits at the end. But before that, I will give some thoughts on the game. I love this ending song in cutscene, by the way.
So you think you've won?
I think I've got my eye back.
Yet still, you are blind.
If you hadn't noticed, I just saved the world, yourself included.
As we knew you would, as it had to be.
Now I remember why I left the Keepers.
And I remember why we let you go.
What do you want from me? Have you come to congratulate me? Welcome me back to the fold?
Very well. I will speak my piece plainly. You have accomplished that which was written, and yes, you've done it well. But there is no place for you with us any longer. Yet you will have a great need of us, and soon.
I don't think so. I'm through with heroics. And with your kind as well.
You cannot run from life as you did from us, Garrett. Life has a way of finding you, no matter how artistic a sneak you are. Listen, there is a book that you were not made aware of. I am here to tell you that it would be wise for you to read it now, if you can still read hieroglyphs.
I do try to forget, but you Keepers leave them everywhere for me.
Yes, you have more friends than you know.
Tell my friends that I don't need their secret book, or their glyph warnings, or their messengers. Tell them I'm through. Tell them it's over. Tell them Garrett is done.
I will tell them this. Nothing has changed. All is as it was written. The trickster is dead. Beware the dawn of the Metal Age.
And that was Thief Gold. Well, Thief the Dark Project, the Gold Edition. I love that engine so much. Like, the first time I played this game, when I saw the engine, because I did play the games out of order. I played the third game first, but then I played the first game and the second game back to back. And the first time I saw this cutscene, I was like, whoa, this is cool. But after having played Thief 2, there's so much like foreshadowing and low-key spoilers for the second game in that cutscene alone that it is just so freaking cool. But I don't want to spoil anything about Thief 2 because I will be playing it on the channel soon. Probably in like a month or two. I do want to take a bit of a break, but yeah, definitely expect Thief 2 in the near future. But the current rant is about Thief 1, so it's safe to say that this game is like extremely influential. This pretty much started the whole like it didn't create the stealth genre per se. That title goes to the original Metal Gear from 1987, but it did revolutionize the stealth genre, kind of somewhat bringing it back, but especially bringing it into the first person. Because remember, this game is from 1998, the same year Half-Life came out. It did come out a couple months after Half-Life, but it was in development for as long as Half-Life. And it's obviously very story-driven, which was also not really common back in the day. And it's just pure stealth. Like, you don't really see games like this anymore that are pure stealth. Usually, if you have a stealth game, it's something like... what's it called? What's the name? Dishonored. It's something like Dishonored. A game that gives you the option to be stealthy, but it also gives you the option to go in guns blazing. And it still makes you feel like a god, basically. Whereas this game makes you actually feel vulnerable. Unless you're good at the combat. And even if you are good at the combat, I myself struggle like combating several enemies at once. The most I can handle is 2, maybe 3 enemies. So it really makes you feel fragile when it forces you into the whole stealth mindset. And navigating the levels, like the level design I think is hit or miss. I think the second game has way better level design, as we're going to see eventually. Because some of the levels, especially the later levels, are honestly really bad, really confusing. Like, they're not even that big. The levels in Thief 2 are way bigger, but they're just laid out in such a way that they feel very maze-like in a bad way. So they're kind of hard to navigate. Another thing that a lot of people complain about is the whole like tomb raiding aspect. Like, literally half the levels are more into the paranormal and I guess a bit more combat focused rather than stealth focused. And what's interesting is that the developers have actually spoken out about that, the reason why it's like that. Basically, back then they were still experimenting with this whole concept, so they weren't sure how people would perceive this sort of gameplay style. Because obviously this came out during a time when first-person shooters like Doom and Quake and Half-Life were all the rage. So a game like this had like very high chances of basically failing. So in order to play it safe, they try to like mix in some more like combat focused areas, except the problem is that the combat is so jank, and that's again by design because you're supposed to avoid the combat, and yet they almost force you into it in some levels, especially the last few, that a lot of people just complain about it. Even back then, even back when the game was new, people didn't really like that, like critics and players alike. So thankfully the second game barely has any of these elements. It's almost exclusively stealth and mansion raiding and stuff, which is why a lot of people prefer the second game, me included. That being said, I do like the atmosphere of the first game better. I think the first game pulls off the horror elements, like the cathedral level, for example, much better than the horror elements of the second game. The second game also has some really neat horror segments, but it's not as horror focused as this game is. So that is one thing I do like about the whole like tomb raiding missions. And in general, I honestly don't mind the tomb raiding missions. Stuff like the Down the Bone Horde level or the Lost City, I honestly kind of like. It's a bit more of a guilty pleasure rather than a genuine love, but I do like those levels. I only really have a problem with Escape. Screw that level. That is the worst level ever out of any Thief game. And the Thieves Guild. And mostly the Thieves Guild because A, it doesn't really contribute anything to the story. It feels like needless filler and padding. And B, it's placed in the early game, but it feels like a late game level because of how confusing it is to navigate and how massive it is in scale and scope. So yeah, definitely not a perfect game, but it is one of my all-time favorites. I do prefer Thief 2, and I'm really excited to show that game to you guys. But yeah, with all that being said, that was Thief Goat. Let me just quickly read the chat before I roll the credits. The absolute 90s-ness of Thief just makes a guy naturally blurred. Hell yeah. The music and vibes. Yeah, exactly. This game screams 90s because, well, it came out in the 90s. So of course it would. Might not be there in a month, I don't know. Well, what do you mean, Jonas? This game is the very first one to have light and shadow based stealth. Yeah, that is also true, and the sound design too. This game has a really amazing sound design. Like, a lot of modern games can't really compete with the spatial audio that this game supports. Like, the fact that you can hear enemies around corners or through doors and use that to your advantage to, like, plan out your route and when it is safe to, like, come out of the shadows is honestly amazing. And I've never really played any stealth game that quite handles it the same way. Yes, even Metal Gear, the Metal Gear franchise, because Metal Gear has some pretty solid stealth as well. The Metal Gear games, most of them anyway. But even those pale in comparison to Thief. Thief is probably the ultimate stealth game, pretty much. Splinter Cell probably wouldn't exist if it weren't for Thief. Yeah, that's another thing. I really need to play Splinter Cell as well. I've actually never played those games. I do know that you're a big fan of them, Yoski, so I should give them a try at some point. I love Tomb Raider. I need to somehow play the OG games. The OG games did get remakes on Steam recently, so you could play those. I heard they're pretty decent. Dark Camelot is what they were making originally, something along those lines. A medieval game probably in the vein of King Arthur's Tale. Yeah. I do like the concept of Dark Camelot. Like, I do want to actually do some custom maps and campaigns for this game in the future, and I have two ideas. One of them is a fan-made continuation of the story after the events of Thief 3, which would follow in the footsteps of Garrett's Apprentice. And the other one is basically Dark Camelot. Like, what if the developers stayed with that original concept? That is something I really want to make eventually for this game. There's a lot of, like, custom content and mods that I want to do for a lot of these games that I love. I also want to make a Half-Life mod as well, but I'm getting sidetracked here. YouTube update August 13th. Oh, right. I forgot about that. I don't think that will affect you, Jonas, because I think that only affects people in the UK and the US. I don't think it's gonna affect you Europeans just yet, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see. I completely forgot about that. If that does affect me, then this is probably gonna be the last stream that I'm ever gonna do on this platform. Which really sucks, but I don't think it will affect us yet, Jonas. I think we have at least 1 to 3 more years, because those new guidelines, I'm pretty sure, are only for the US. You ever played Black Parade? Not yet, Yoski. I'm ashamed to admit I haven't played it yet. I'm actually putting it off until I'm done with all of my fan missions backlog, which still has a few Thief 2 missions. I'm literally saving the best for last, because I want the Black Parade, because it's so special, I want it to be the absolute last custom map that I ever play for this game. So basically after I clear my backlog of the remaining maps that I have. I might even stream it on here, we'll see. Oh, speaking of custom maps, yeah, this game has a lot of custom content, like fan-made content. It's called the custom missions, or fan missions, rather. There are a bunch of, like, fan mission loaders, basically like mod loaders that you can use to play those missions, and you can download them for free online. And there's a lot of really good ones. There's a lot of even like straight up campaigns that can honestly rival or even surpass the quality of the original games. So in case you want to watch me play some of those, do let me know. I have played a fair amount of them actually, mostly for Thief 2 because Thief Gold doesn't really have that many, since basically Thief 2 runs on the exact same engine anyway, so most people just end up making the maps for Thief 2. Personally, the 2 maps that I want to make, one of them is going to be made in Thief 3, even though I think it's way harder to make maps in that game because it's a completely different engine that doesn't really support fan missions as far as I know, or not very well at least. And Dark Camelot I think might be more fitting to make it in Old Dark, so in Thief Gold, and probably the original Thief Gold. Although Old Dark is a pain in the ass to work with, so I'm probably gonna cave and use New Dark. But anyway, I have to show my IG to YouTube. If I have to show my IG to YouTube, I'll quit forever. Yeah, same, Soybean. I do not trust any of these companies with my IG. It's enough that they steal all of my other data. They literally know everything about me, except my IG. So that's enough. I think German government is like, no, we cannot do that. I'm pretty sure the EU, like the EU Parliament itself, wants something similar. But yeah, I really hope it doesn't come into fruition. Anyway, this has been a long rant. Literally, I don't want half of the stream to just be me talking, because that's boring, even though it's at the end. It says to protect the kids. Oh, I know it's a lie. Yeah, that's clearly a lie. If anything, that'll just make kids even more vulnerable because they're just going to end up looking for alternatives, which are going to be a lot more dangerous because of lack of moderation and whatnot. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. Yeah, that was Thief Gold. I hope you all enjoyed this playthrough. Stay tuned for Thief 2, hopefully in the near future. And until then, thank you all very much for watching and have a good one. Bye bye and enjoy the credits.